Hello, and welcome to Yelling Out Loud. I'm your host, Bobby Lee. And today we're going to discuss everything from friends and family to NASCAR and sports, including current news, gadgets and technology, life, social media, apps, music, software, and food. So I'll tell you what, people, sit back and enjoy the show. All right, here we go. Welcome to the show. I'd like to start out with talking about the way it used to be and how easy life was back then. We're going all the way back to the 70s, somewhere around that period. But life was so much easier. I know the millennials don't want to hear it, but really they live in a very, very fast-paced life. And if you go back in the 70s, we did not have that kind of life at all. The 70s were very, very simple times. Hey, if you got in trouble, you got your butt beat. You got the belt, you got the switch, whatever it took off the tree. It's the way it was. Nowadays, you can't even touch your kid. You're going to be in trouble for sure. Going back to it, we had rotary phones, push button phones, but really started out with the rotary phone. Put your finger in it, you turn it all the way down around. There was a stop on the phone that stopped you. So if you put your finger in 9, spun it all the way around, it'd make a tick, 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 tick sound when it would go around. Very nice. And we could call the operator, dialing O. There was a phone around almost every corner and at every gas station. You could go to a phone booth, look up a name in a phone book, and you had to go through all that. And it was not bad. It was more simple. Everybody had a landline. 90% of the people had landlines back then. We didn't have the cordless phone yet. It wasn't put out yet. So everybody got the phone call at the house. It would ring. You'd have to run for the phone. Everybody would run for the phone usually if you were a kid to see who it was. And then you'd yell across the house, "Hey, Mom, it's for you." That kind of thing. Pretty wild, but it was simpler. A whole lot simpler. Moving on, we're going into pop or soda. It depends on what part of the country you're from. We got most of ours out of vending machines. Stores had them too, but outside your vending machines were real big. 16-ounce bottles for Pepsi in the stores, 8 packs to be exact. Came in a little cardboard handheld carton. You'd basically pick up your 8-pack of 16-ounce bottles, take them home. When you were done, you'd rinse them out. You put them back in the 8-pack to go back to the store. So Mom would tell you, "Hey, son, load up the station wagon with the 16-ounce bottles, 8 packs, and load them all up in the thorn. Go to the store, take them in. You'd take them in, they would count them all, give you a little receipt so that you could get your money back off the refund of them. It's the way we used to do every week. Now, if you would have said bottled water for sale in the stores, I think our parents and grandparents would say, "Are you crazy? I am not paying $1 for water. Not going to happen." That's how much life has changed. We're going on to television. Now, everybody knows television has changed dramatically. I mean, I remember as a kid, I was the remote. Parents or elders always had the couch, the sofa, the love seats, the chairs. They got everything. If they were all full, you got on the floor. 90% of the time, I was always on the floor watching television. I had 4 channels, pretty simple. I had 3 VHF, if I remember, and 1 UHF channel. Yeah, we had 2 different ones we had to flip over to. And I had 1 public broadcasting system, PBS channel, and that's all we had. What was on was on. There was no DVRs. There was none of this stuff. It is what it was. So a lot of times, as you can see, when Mom said to go outside and play, you were happy because there's nothing on. There was nothing literally on. You went outside, you played most of the day. There's no doubt, from day to night. Sometimes she had to go outside to call you in for dinner because you were just so busy having fun riding your bike, playing things, doing things with your friends, all outside, having fun. We never came inside to have fun. Never happened. And we'll get into games later, but we never did it. Hardly ever. If it was raining outside, we were somewhere, but we were having fun. Television came a long way then, and it got better and better, and we had some of the greatest television shows you could name out there. Everybody remembers Happy Days, Charlie's Angels. There was such things as All in the Family. Everybody remembers it. Good Times, Brady Bunch, Adam 12, Emergency, Ironside, Gunsmoke. Westerns were big. Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Hawaii Five-0. And then come to really get down to it, every kid, Sunday night was Disney night. About 7 o'clock. We had Mutual of Omaha. We did. We watched Disney every 7 o'clock. Every Sunday night was Disney night. And you sat, and as soon as you were done, you had to go get your bath and get to bed. That was every kid's Sunday night. Those days are gone. They're gone. We've lost them. Where they went, I have no clue. The family's not even together anymore. Kids in playing the Xbox 90% of the time, not even with the parent. But that's the way it used to be. And it was real nice, real easygoing. You knew what life was, and we were all close-knit. When it came down to radio moving on, all we had was AM radio. FM was not out and going strong yet. AM radio. I remember being a kid listening to WoHo out of Toledo, Ohio. Awesome. Played all the 70s hits. AM radio. Had my little transistor radio. It was cool. All it had was tune and volume. That's it. Tuning and volume. There was no bass, treble, nothing. It was straight out AM radio, one sound, one pitch. We had that, and later on would become the VCR, but it took a little while, and also the microwave oven came later on. Really, in your music area, you stuck with AM radio. Everybody had the phonograph, including your mom and dad. They usually had them big consoles. They were huge. And we got to play the phonograph, and you had to put the little disc in for the 33s. Everybody knows what or 45s, I'm sorry. You put that in, it would hold the 45s. Mechanical mechanism would drop them down. Very well done. Very neat. So yes, you had to clean every album. Make sure they're clean. Didn't want to scratch them, because if you scratch, they'd skip. But if you wanted to hear one song, you might as well just play the whole album. One song didn't work. It didn't work like that, unless you had the 45. But if you had a 33, you were playing the whole thing. At that point, a company called Ronco came out. Ronco, he made everything from Dyson slicers to you name it. Ronco Presents. He had every kind of thing on television he was selling. It was everything from hair cutting to shoes. You name it, he was selling something wild and off the wall. But he also got into music. And music also went into Ronco Records. And he had all these songs that he used to play and have out there. It was really different. But everybody knew who Ronco was at the time. The 8-track tape player was out pretty strong in the 70s. It was the only bad thing about it is halfway through the middle of a song, it would fade down, click over to track 2, and fade right back up and keep playing. We got used to it. We played it. We didn't care. We did not care. So the 8-track tape player, awesome, big, bulky thing, probably in somewhere around the vicinity of 6 inches by 4.5 inches. You shoved it in there and it would play. Big tape deck. All right, moving on to games. When I grew up, Pong just come out, black and white. The little dot in the middle of the thing. You'd move your little joystick. It was just a regular potentiometer driven round circular thing. You turned it up, down to go up or down with your paddle. That's all it did. You got pointed for if you got it past the other guy. Pong was huge. Later on came the little handheld football and basketball. Everybody remembers the ding ding, shoot, score kind of thing. Those came later on, and they were kind of funny and a joke, but every kid had to have them. Etch-a-Sketch came out. Pretty neat. 2 dials. Little ink thing with design would come on your screen. You shake it, clear it all off, try again. Light Bright. Yeah, whose brainy idea was this one? Let's give a hot light bulb in the back of a big open container add paper, black paper to the front of it, and you shove these plastic little clear, red, green, blue, whatever, just pins through it, and you create your little design, and the light would extrude through them. Made a lot of money. For the little girls, hey, easy bake oven. I can't tell you how many uncooked recipes I ate off of that thing. Skateboards were out. The big wheel was kicking. You could get on the big wheel and go anywhere, buddy. Used to slide sideways on them, burn the tires, flatten them out. Plastic tires did not last long on a big wheel. Skateboards, they went a long way. Skateboards stayed, and they got better and better as time went on. I remember building my first skateboard out of a roller skate, split in two, and nailed to a 2x4. At that point, we went into such things as the hippity hop. A big rubber air-filled ball with a handle on it. You sat on it and you just jumped around your backyard. The pet rock came out. Just about everybody had one. Still today, I think you can get a hold of a pet rock. Somebody made an ingenious idea on that, made a lot of money. Moving into fast food, there wasn't a lot of fast food places. Yes, you had your Kentucky Fried Chicken. I believe the drive-thru wasn't out yet at those places. McDonald's was out and about and going. Pizza was not an everyday thing like it is now. And it just didn't get any better than that, because you could go literally to a McDonald's and get your food and the order was not messed up, believe it or not. I think today it'll get messed up pretty much. Movies, we went to movies. Movies cost about $1 all the way up into about $3 a movie. It was really nice. You could go get a popcorn for $1. You literally could take a girl out on a date for $20. I'm not lying. We're talking $20 you can go out on a date for. Try that now. That's movie dinner. Drive-ins were everywhere. Outskirts of every town. You go there. There was always something to do. Always. The car was affordable. No doubt there. Every backyard mechanic could repair one. You could literally open up the hood, set inside those engine compartments if you wanted to. Wasn't much to it. It was pretty simple. An engine, a carburetor, transmission, that's it. All the electronic gadgets weren't there because we rolled down our windows manually. That was it. You had to, and to unlock the doors, you literally had to pull up on the little device that was located right there on the door. The next things was our trades. Our trades were one of the biggest things out there. Skilled trades were really good then. Everybody was a plumber, pipe fitter, painter, you name it. Small businesses grew and grew big. They did very well back then. They weren't looking for a lot of money like they do now. They weren't out to get the big dollar. They were out to be for the people. And unfortunately, we've lost that concept. Back then, it was helping people, getting things. Yes, I can do that for you. And yes, they would. They go above and beyond. Now it's like if you even ask, it's like, I need some more money. When it came down to our furniture, everybody knows we had elaborate colors in the 70s. It didn't matter if it was from our clothes to our furniture and to our paint. It didn't matter what it was. But we all had the beanbag chair, the water bed, the lava lamp. The microwave oven came later. The mood ring was out. I mean, there was so much out there. You know, in fashion-wise, big hair. Big hair. I'm not talking little. I'm talking big hair. Big hair was huge back then. But it was still simpler. And if you want to go back to our music was better. You could understand them. Rock was doing excellent. You know, the Vietnam War just ended. Rock is ready to go. I'll tell you what, the top 5 rock artists, starting with 5. Number 5, the Rolling Stones. You know, they were kicking it out with sticky fingers then. Number 4, The Who. Number 3, Pink Floyd. These are the top bands of the 70s. Number 2, Stevie Wonder, believe it or not. And the number 1 70s band of all time, Led Zeppelin. So people, I just want to tell you a little bit about the 70s and where we stood, and the younger generation could understand, and maybe ask you a few questions about some of the things that used to be. Like, is he real? Is he right? Yeah, I'm right, people. Hey, we're moving on to the next one. Hang in there. right, let's begin the music section of our show. Today, our spotlight is on Casey Donahue, a Fort Worth, Texas boy who's been rocking for a number of years. He has a brand new CD release, 15 Years, The Wild Ride. This is a great, great CD, a must-have. Definitely catch it on iTunes. But why don't we go ahead and spotlight his previous career? This is where he actually was rocking a long, long time ago. And right now we're going to start out with an oldie but goodie from him, Let Me Love You. Listen to this.
Well, I've been out here on this highway for a while. I think about you, girl, with every passing mile. I tell you I love you, then I turn and I walk away. I see your lips, your face, your smile, and I beg to stay. Now just let me love you, let me hold you, let me touch you, like you need to be touched.
There you have Let Me Love You by Casey Donahue. Next we're moving on to another new hit that just come off his new CD, as well as it was played earlier in his career, and it's called Double Wide Dream. Check this one out.
She likes to cuss and fight, she can drink all night, she can roll one up till I'm feeling right, and drive the truck with swampers and rims, and an Alpine pumping through kicker 10. She dips snuff, she don't spit, she never owned a bra, her shirts don't fit. And I love that pretty little country girl. She's rocking this redneck's world. She's the welcome mat to my home, sweet home. She takes me as I am and loves me like she wants to. She twists my heart up just like a corkscrew. She makes me smile, so I make her scream. Just a couple of kids living the double wide dream.
All right, that was Double Wide Dream by Casey Donahue. Definitely a rockin' song. Hey, next we're moving on to one that had a very strange cover for him. It was kind of a cowboy kind of cover, but it's called Whiskey Baby. Check this one out.
My heart is just like shot glass, empty and alone. Only as good as a spirit in it, useless on its own. And your love is just like whiskey, burns all the way down, lights me up and it gets me right. Baby, pour me another round.
All right, that was Whiskey Baby. Next we're moving on to a real kicking butt song, and it's called Feels This Right.
Got a pocket full of money and it's burning a hole. Pulled it on tight and now I'm letting it go. And I'm cinched up ready, I was born to run. I ain't stopping till I see the sun. We ain't stopping till we see the sun. I'm looking for a all-night party song. Want my crew sings along, 'cause when it feels this right, it can't be wrong.
All right, there you have it. Feels This Right by Casey Donahue. Hey, now we're moving on to the brand new 15 Years The Wild Ride. You can purchase it on Amazon. You can purchase it on iTunes, anywhere, everywhere. This new album, though, is really, really good. It starts out, let's talk a little bit about Casey. He has over 8 studio albums, 1 live album, I believe. He's been rocking since 2002. Starting out in that area, playing in the bars of Texas. Made it pretty big, and I guess we're going to profile it right now, that brand new album. Here we go. From 15 Years The Wild Ride, he redid the song 3 a.m. Check it out.
She only sleeps when it's raining. she screams, and her voice is straining. She says, baby, well, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. And she says, baby, yeah, I can't ever be scared of it all. Sometimes this rain's gonna wash away. Well, I believe it.
All right, there you at 3 a.m. by Chris Donahue. The next one really caught my ear. It's called Stockyards, and it definitely has a good beat to it. Check this one out.
Down in a chute, a twirl in a loop. The Cadillac is probably no spot. And it's cowboy hats and cowboy cats as far as the eye can see.
Great song by Casey. But this next song, called Angel, really hits home, and it's definitely worth listening to. Check it out.
She got lines running up her arms like a Lily freeway. I've dropped her off at rehab 7 times, but she just won't stay. She never climbed a mountain, but she's seen her share of snow. She got locked up in Johnson County for selling pills and blow. She's an angel who's lost her way.
All right, that was Angel by Casey Donahue. So right now we're moving on to another great by him called Fallen. Hey, sit back, relax, and take this one in. It's a good one.
But I don't notice much at all. Just that suitcase by the front door. Said I can't stand to watch you fall, but I've already fallen.
That was the new song Fallen off the brand new album by Casey Donahue. Hey, definitely this next song is it for me. It's Shine on Me. It's the final one I'm going to be doing on Casey, so listen in and tell me what you think.
Think about life's choices and the cost. Wish I could stop and catch my air. Whoever said that life was fair? Now it's been a long 25 years living life without all this fear. I'm holding on for a better day. I pray the sun will come and stay. Shine on me, shine on me.
And there you have it, the new CD release of Casey Donahue. 15 Years The Wild Ride. Hey, check this thing out. You can get it at Walmart, iTunes, anywhere out there. It's great. It's a must-have. And Casey's been doing it for a while. That's it for music. If you've like to review any of this with me, go ahead and shoot me over an email at yellingoutloud.net. That's Bobby Lee at yellingoutloud.net. Yellingoutloud.net is the website. It is currently still under construction, but you can still send me an email. Again, we'll catch up with you next time. Thank you. All right, we're going to talk about a brand new gadget. Again, I talk about gadgets that are under $100 in cost. That's fair enough for everyone to purchase. And today we're going to talk about a gadget called sensealife. Now, I had a colleague of mine give me this idea. It was a wonderful idea. I wish they would have had it when my kids were younger. But we go into this device that recognizes if your child's in the car seat or not and warns you if you left them in there. But let's start over. This invention, sensealife, was invented by 2 neighbors in Tampa, Florida. One of them, an electrical engineer. The other one, a pharmacist. Now, mind you, they happened to did some research themselves and found that 8 children a year die in car overheated deaths, and around 1,000 hospital incidences where they have to go in due to overheated. So they decided to stop, and figure this thing out. And they were doing prototypes, so forth. Well, they finally came up with sensealife. Now this is a nice little device. It costs $99, and you can get it at www.sensealife.com. Now you go there, you can go in there and see all the research that they've done and everything about them. And if you think about it, this is a great invention. But what it is, it's 2 devices. One goes in the child's car seat, and it picks up 2 pounds or more. So if it feels 2 pounds of pressure on it, it knows the child's in the car seat. That's that sensor. The other sensor is for you to put under your driver's seat. It is an audio box. And it takes 30 seconds to install this device. That's it. And it's transferable to any car real quickly. So it's a wonderful device. But what happens is, say you put your child in the car seat, you get in your car, it's great, you're going down the road, you have to stop somewhere, regular errands, and you're going to go into the shopping center. Well, all of a sudden you're talking on the phone to mom or whatever, and you stop, get out, close the door, start heading to the shopping center. Within 30 seconds, or less, an alarm's going to go off on your phone. It's going to say, hey, you left the child in the car. Now, say you didn't answer that. It has multiple contacts. It's going to call somebody else for you, a secondary, saying that the child is left in the car. Now, this is wonderful. That's another wonderful thing. I believe anybody right now should, if you've got a child, this is great to have, a must-have actually, because today's people, as we talk, are so fast-paced, we tend to forget so quickly. The brain can only multitask so much. So just go to this, www.sensealife.com. Check it out. Do the research yourself, but wonderful, wonderful device. Thank you, and we're moving on. Let me tell you a little bit about a time when I went to visit my sister. It's a few years back. Me and the wife headed out to Bangor, Maine. Decided to take a little stroll down Bangor, Maine, walking the city streets, the sidewalks, so forth, in the residential areas. Stephen King lives right downtown. We walked the streets, walked right up to his wrought iron gates. It was really nice. He got next door neighbors like you and I, a basketball court like you and I. No different from any other person. Doesn't have god-awful amounts of land and mansion. He doesn't live in nothing like that. He lives in a nice little Victorian-style home. Now, the only difference is he does have like a 4-foot wrought iron gate around the house, a little higher than that. And it has bats on the gate. but that's Stephen King, and we don't mind that. But now, getting back to the movie, It is a 8.5 in my category. That's on the YO scale, the yelling out loud scale. 8.5 I'm giving it because it was excellent. It had enough thriller in it to catch you and keep you going. It was awesome. Power to him. I couldn't have done any better from the previous version. He blew that one away. He did excellent on the remake. Again, get out to the theaters and see this movie, people. It is awesome. Stephen King's It. Thank you. All right. That wraps it up for this week's show. So I'll tell you what, if you've got a topic you'd like to discuss, hey, shoot me over an email at bobbylee@yellingoutloud.net. I'll read it, we'll put it out there on the air, we'll make sure we discuss it. Listen, if you also want to be a sponsor, shoot me over an email the same way. We will definitely work with you. Again, you have a great week. Let's roll into the next week and the next week after that. I'm out of here. You guys have a good day. Yelling Out Loud is a TK Ramray production.